the greatest physical specimen in the history of physical specimens.
I mean, the guy's obviously got incredible genetics, but also...
Mike O'Hearn's 100% natural.
He's 57 years old.
4-time Mr. Universe champion, Mr. Universe Hall of Famer.
You can't lie to yourself and say that this dude is natural.
By 13, 14, I was already winning bodybuilding shows. By 15, I was 280.
Model, content creator, YouTuber, actor, fitness coach, guru. Mr. Universe, do they test?
Yeah, I've been tested more than anybody.
To understand why Mike O'Hearn became one of the most controversial men in fitness, you first have to understand one thing: his genetics. Some call him a once-in-a-generation, others call him a clown. But before we can answer whether it is truly possible to be bigger than Prime Arnold and still be natural, we have to return to his childhood. Mike O'Hearn was born on January 26, 1969 in Kirkland, Washington, just outside Seattle. But unlike most children, Mike did not grow up in an ordinary household. Years later, Mike would laugh at his upbringing, describing his brothers as farm boys who were constantly wrestling, competing, and testing one another.
I come from a family of 10, just farm boys, fighting all the time kind of thing, and training wrestlers.
Mike's dad, a college professor with a passion for powerlifting and bodybuilding, believed that physical fitness built discipline just as much as it built muscle.
And I'm a 12, 13-year-old kid being taught how to powerlift.
Their basement at home wasn't filled with toys, it was filled with weights.
The whole downstairs was bunk beds and then weights all the way across.
While most children spent their weekends playing video games, Mike found himself surrounded by adults discussing training techniques, strength, nutrition, and competition.
We were bred for it. We were bred for it. We had good genetics.
Some of the strongest powerlifters in America regularly trained around him, turning his childhood into what was essentially an education in strength. By the early age of 8, Mike had already begun lifting weights under the supervision of his father. For many people, stepping onto a bodybuilding stage is intimidating. For Mike, it became home.
Walked on stage at 14, my first show. Powerlifted and bodybuilded the whole time through. And so by 17, when I did Teenage Nationals, I was 220 on stage.
He wasn't competing against boys his own age. He was standing beside grown men.
By 13, 14, I was already winning bodybuilding shows and powerlifting. By 15, I was 280.
Over the next few years, Mike continued entering both bodybuilding and powerlifting competitions, quickly building a reputation as one of the most gifted young strength athletes in the country. Around this time, Mike wasn't simply focusing on looking muscular. He wanted to become a complete athlete. He trained for strength like a powerlifter, he posed like a bodybuilder, he studied martial arts, and he played football. He believed athletic performance and aesthetics should go hand in hand, a philosophy that would eventually become known as power bodybuilding.
You know, I was a powerlifter to start with, but I always wanted that physique. And so I started early on just doing the secondary work like a bodybuilder, but doing the main movements like a powerlifter. That's basically how I came up with it.
But perhaps the biggest turning point of his teenage years came when one of the most powerful figures in bodybuilding heard about the young athlete. That man was Joe Weider. Known as the father of modern bodybuilding, Weider had helped launch the careers of icons such as Arnold. He had an eye for talent, and when he saw Mike, he believed he had discovered something special.
He called up my dad and said, "Hey, Pops, I need your son in California. I'll put him under contract."
California was thousands of miles away, and Mike was still just a teenager. Leaving home meant leaving behind everything he had ever known. But when his father heard the opportunity, his response surprised him.
And my dad came to me and says, "Pack up, you're out of here."
As Mike packed his belongings into a small U-Haul and left Washington behind, he wasn't just moving to another state, he was stepping into the epicenter of bodybuilding. Venice Beach was home to the legendary Gold's Gym, where some of the biggest names in bodybuilding trained every single day. Imagine walking into a gym and seeing every fitness icon you've ever admired training in the same room. For Mike, that quickly became normal. Instead of reading about Arnold in magazines, he was watching him train. Instead of studying Tom Platz's workouts, he was learning from the man himself.
I'm training Tom Platz, Robbie Robinson, Arnold, Lou.
Many of bodybuilding's greatest names became part of Mike's everyday environment. Rather than copying one athlete, Mike absorbed ideas from all of them. He studied how powerlifters generated strength. He watched bodybuilders perfect posing. He learned how elite athletes recovered. And perhaps most importantly, he realized something many young competitors overlooked: longevity.
Because I started competing in 83, and it's what, 2026?
Yes.
And it's like, I'm still doing this? I'm still training with the strongest, not just strong men, but the strongest men in the world.
Some athletes burned brightly for a few years before disappearing. Mike wanted something different. He wanted a career that lasted decades. At the time, he had no idea how successful that philosophy would become. As Mike's physique continued improving, photographers began taking notice. Unlike many competitive bodybuilders, Mike possessed something advertisers desperately wanted. He looked powerful and, most importantly, marketable. Companies quickly realized he appealed not only to hardcore bodybuilding fans, but also to ordinary people who simply wanted to become healthier. Magazine covers started appearing one after another. Over the years, Mike would appear on more than 500 magazine covers, making him one of the most photographed fitness models in history. Mike's face was practically everywhere, becoming one of the most recognizable physiques of the 1990s. Among all the competitions Mike entered, one title stood above the rest: Mr. Universe. Unlike many athletes who dreamed only of turning professional, Mike set his sights on becoming one of the greatest natural bodybuilders in the world.
Mike O'Hearn has appeared on more bodybuilding magazine covers than any man since Arnold. And it was no surprise to anyone when Mike O'Hearn claimed the overall title of Natural Mr. Universe.
He went on to win multiple Mr. Natural Universe titles, cementing his reputation as one of the sport's most successful natural competitors. To his supporters, these victories became evidence of what discipline, consistency, and exceptional genetics could achieve. To his critics, however, they would later become part of a much larger debate. He has often said that his biggest competition wasn't the man standing next to him on stage. It was the version of himself from the previous year. As Mike's popularity continued to grow, opportunities outside bodybuilding began arriving one after another. He appeared in commercials, fitness advertisements, television shows, movies, and even romance covers. His physique had become his business card. In the late 1980s, American Gladiators became one of the biggest television shows in America.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Gladiator Arena in Los Angeles, California.
The concept was simple. Every day, people would compete against larger-than-life athletes with names like Nitro, Ice, Laser, and Turbo. These weren't actors. They were elite competitors who looked like superheroes. When producers began searching for new gladiators, thousands of athletes applied. And Mike was one of them.
You come to LA and then American Gladiators and you're blowing up and whatnot. What is that life
Quickly.
like?
And it was 5,000 guys. And after 3 days of smashing, it was just down to me and 4 guys. And I win the spot.
Playing Titan wasn't simply about looking intimidating. Every episode demanded explosive athleticism. Contestants were faster than ever. Some were incredibly strong. Others had backgrounds in football, wrestling, or track and field. Mike couldn't simply rely on his physique. He had to perform.
They gave us good competitors to go against. And so the greatest thing about it was freaking phenomenal contestants. All the gladiators were athletes.
Following American Gladiators, Mike's career expanded even further. He appeared in television dramas, action films, fitness documentaries, commercial campaigns, even music videos. His combination of size and athleticism made him a natural fit for Hollywood productions looking for physically imposing characters. Years after building his television career, he received an invitation from one of the biggest entertainment companies in the world.
Shane McMahon flew me out and goes, "We want you for wrestling.
Oh, really?
We want you WWE."
For many athletes, this would have been an opportunity of a lifetime. Professional wrestling offered worldwide fame, huge audiences, and the chance to become an international superstar. Everything seemed to be falling into place, but in the end, Mike walked away. Whether it was concerns about the demanding travel schedule, the physical toll on his body, or simply a desire to continue building his own brand, he ultimately decided it wasn't the right path. Instead, he chose something far more valuable: ownership over his own career. Throughout the 90s and early 2000s, Mike expanded into almost every area of fitness. With the rise of the internet and social media, something completely unexpected happened. Mike became one of the internet's biggest fitness memes. Videos of him confidently walking through gyms to the song "What Is Love" exploded across Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube as well. Millions of people who had never heard of American Gladiators suddenly knew exactly who Mike O'Hearn was.
You could have been insulted by this. Instead, you leaned into this. You're making your own memes, and you have the t-shirt that says "Baby, don't hurt me."
Yeah, we got shirts, we got everything. It's one of those things, you can't take yourself so serious.
But you're so good at that.
What could have been a short-lived internet joke introduced Mike O'Hearn to an entirely new audience. But with that renewed fame came renewed scrutiny.
Think of how much better you kids are gonna be than I'm gonna be if you just go and resort to taking drugs. Thanks, Mike O'Hearn. Great job.
So guys, Derek, moreplates.com. Today we're going to be talking about Mike O'Hearn.
Yeah. When you look at that Mike O'Hearn guy.
Yeah. No, the Mike O'Hearn example it's wild that he leads.
As millions of new viewers discovered Mike O'Hearn online, they began asking the same question the bodybuilding community had been debating for decades. Is he really natural? During the 1970s, physiques were defined by aesthetics. Athletes such as Arnold, Frank Zane, and Serge Nubret focused on symmetry, proportion, and presentation. By the late 1980s and early 1990s, everything had changed. The mass monster era had begun.
Wanna be a bodybuilder? Right. So nobody will lift this heavy ass weight. Go! I do it though. Yeah!
Bodybuilders were arriving on stage heavier than ever before. Fans knew performance-enhancing drugs had become increasingly common in professional bodybuilding. If someone was extremely muscular, people naturally assumed PEDs were involved. So, when Mike O'Hearn continued claiming to be a lifetime natural, many people simply didn't believe him.
My career would have been over in the late 80s, 90s if I'd followed the path.
Is that what he meant by the path?
Yeah, the path was,
Okay.
He's maintained the same position for more than 30 years. According to Mike, his physique comes from 4 things: genetics, consistency, training, and nutrition. Whenever people ask how he remained muscular into his 50s, his answer rarely changes. One of Mike's biggest arguments has always been genetics. "We were bred for it. We had good genetics," he claimed in a podcast. He often points to his family, his brothers, his strength, their strength, their athletic background, etc.
You've never taken PEDs?
Well, that's already over with. Now they see and they go, oh, there's genetics. By 13, 14, I was already winning bodybuilding shows and powerlifting. By 15, I was 280.
Whenever critics accuse Mike of using steroids, he frequently responds with another argument.
Do they test?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. That's the problem. I've been tested more than anybody because I had to be tested in my teenage years, and then Gladiators is a game show, so you're tested.
But not everyone accepts Mike's explanation. Far from it.
Lie to yourself and say this dude is natural. Look at this motherfucker at 13.
As fitness content exploded on YouTube, more creators began analyzing professional physiques than ever before. Videos analyzing Mike's physique quickly accumulated millions of views. Reaction channels, debate panels, science-based fitness creators, everyone seemed to have an opinion. But we all know the truth. One thing that often gets overlooked in the debate is how differently Mike approached bodybuilding. While many athletes chased short-term success, Mike focused on sustainability. It's easy to reduce Mike O'Hearn's story into one sentence: natural or not. But doing that ignores something much bigger. Regardless of where someone stands on the debate, very few athletes have remained influential for more than 4 decades. Very few has successfully transitioned from bodybuilding to television to business to social media, whether viewers admire him, question him, or completely disagree with him. They continue talking about him. There is another side of Mike's story, one that has nothing to do with bodybuilding, one that has everything to do with family. Because after decades of chasing success, Mike O'Hearn says the greatest title he has ever earned is Dad. In 2019, at the age of 50, Mike welcomed his son, Titan.
When I got to 50, we said, yeah, let's do this. And now, 7 years in, I'm sitting there going, wow, I was pretty stupid before.
Despite spending his entire life around elite athletes, he doesn't want to force his son into bodybuilding or any sport at all. Instead, he believes that children learn by watching, not by listening.
They really do mimic what you do, not what you say.
Children hear or see 100% of what you do and hear 0% of what you say.
Very few people stay at the top of any industry for 10 years. Mike O'Hearn has remained relevant for over 40. Whether you believe he represents one of the greatest genetic anomalies ever seen, or whether you believe he is the biggest clown of the fitness industry, is entirely up to you.